This foundation can look a little bit like a mask as the day wears on, but cling to dry patches, crepey areas, and underneath the eyes. I'm gonna try to just be as nice as I can. In this Freaks Friday Face Off, I was originally going to compare a matte finish foundation to a radiant finish foundation, but as I got into looking at the ingredients of these two foundations, they tell a very different story. So today we are going to not only get a look at the difference in the finish so you can decide which one works best for you, we're also going to do an 8-hour check-in so that you can see how they work on my more mature skin. I am 55, I definitely have wrinkles, and I have combination skin, so I'm oily in the T-zone. But beyond that, you guys, we're gonna do a deep dive into the ingredients because these foundations are a bit confusing and a little complicated. So I want to walk you through them because they're at a higher price point. At the end of this video, I'm going to share with you what my still favorite foundation is, and it's under 20 bucks. But before we get there, let's take a look at how the new Rare Beauty foundation holds up against Dior's new Forever Glow. And I think you're going to be surprised by some of these results. In terms of prep, I have moisturizer and sunscreen on. I don't have a primer, and we're not gonna set these with a setting powder or setting spray. I wanna see how these two foundations hold up without any help so that you know if they're gonna work for you. On this side, we're going in with the Rare Beauty True to Myself Natural Matte Longwear Foundation. This sells for $38 and comes in 48 shades. The packaging is pretty simple. It's plastic, it's a pump, and then on the back, it has a lock, so you can lock it in case you're traveling. It does press pretty easy, so I do like that they added that lock on top. I have it in shade 18. You can see it's a thicker formula. I'm gonna use my BK Beauty 107 brush to apply both of these foundations so that we get an even application. I like to take that foundation on the back of my hand and really work it into the brush and the bristles, and then pat it all over my face. There's no fragrance with this foundation. The marketing says this is long wearing, offers medium coverage, great for oily, normal, or combination skin. What's good about this foundation is it has silicone smoothing properties without the extra dryness. It has dimethicone and cross polymers. These give a soft blur focus to the skin, smoother looking texture, and better glide over fine lines, which is important to those of us with mature skin. Another plus for this foundation is no high alcohol, which is much more forgiving as the day goes on. It offers balanced hydration, which is important. With glycerin, the formula pulls in moisture and adds a bit of softness. This type of formulation is why this foundation is less likely to give that tight by noon look. It also has skin smoothing ingredients, like seaweed extract and ginger root. This is especially helpful for redness, sensitivity, reactive, post-menopausal skin. Those are all the reasons to love this foundation. But here's what else you want to know. Because this is a matte finish, it has silica and film formers, which can absorb oil, which is good for those of us with more oily skin, but it can also pull moisture over time from the skin. So you might start to see some dryness and enhanced texture throughout the day. We're gonna see what that looks like in 8 hours. Because of the heavy silicone network and pigments in this foundation, if your skin is not prepped right, and by that I mean a nice hydrating moisturizer, this foundation can look a little bit like a mask as the day wears on, and it may not melt into more dry, mature skin. It might look like it sits on top, which can lead to settling and emphasis of lines and wrinkles and texture as the day goes on. I'm gonna add some Jane Iredale Skin Tuition concealer just to give us a little bit more coverage right through the purple area, and then we will move on to Dior. All right, now we're gonna go to the Dior Forever Skin Glow Foundation. I have it in shade 3N. This is my second bottle. The first bottle I had was 3.5 and it was way too dark. This formula isn't quite as thick as the Rare Beauty. This is a glass bottle, classic, beautiful Dior packaging. Now this sells for $60, which is almost twice as much as the Rare Beauty and 3 times as much as my favorite foundation. Comes in 42 shades and is said to leave a radiant glow to the skin. So let's talk about what makes up this foundation, and then we're gonna take a look at the two different finishes side by side. The marketing for Dior said it is long wearing, medium coverage, and radiant finish. Now what's good about this foundation for mature skin, it has a blurring and a smoothing base. It has methyl trimethicone and dimethicone. These are lightweight silicones that visually smooth texture, fine lines, and pores, which is a big plus. It gives that filtered skin look on camera and also in real life. This is why formulas like this can look gorgeous initially on 50-plus-year-old skin. It also offers a little bit of hydration support. It has glycerin and hyaluronic acid, which pulls moisture into the skin. It helps prevent that tight, dry look. It's not super rich, but enough to keep it from feeling desert dry on your skin. It does have skin improving properties like niacinamide, which is said to brighten and improve the tone. It has vitamin E, which is an antioxidant protectant, and it has peptide for mild smoothing and that anti-aging support. This also has titanium dioxide, which is a physical sunscreen component good for sensitive skin. It can cause your foundation to sit on top of the skin, which is less irritating than chemical filters. Beautiful medium coverage, but now let's talk about why this isn't a good formula for our more mature skin. Alcohol is high on the ingredient list. For mature skin, this is the biggest red flag because it can make your skin look more dehydrated throughout the day. It can make fine lines look worse in just a few hours. And it can leave your skin looking really pretty at 8 a.m. and not so good by 10. It also contains film formers, which can help give you that long wear, but cling to dry patches, crepey areas, and underneath the eyes. Translation, longer wear is not necessarily flattering on your skin, and we'll see for ourselves at the 8-hour mark. As I mentioned, the Dior side does have a fragrance to it, which can be irritating for more sensitive skin, those of you with rosacea, or if you suffer from postmenopausal reactive skin. There's no rich emollients in this foundation, like ceramides, fatty oils, or butters. Now that these two foundations are on side by side, the Rare Beauty says that it is a soft matte finish. So how does that look to you? Does it look more drying? Does it look healthy? Does it look glowing, radiant, or does it look dull and flat? Versus a natural radiant finish, which is what Dior is calling their finish. Also medium coverage, also long wear. How do the two look side by side? Does one side look healthier, more glowy? Does it emphasize fine lines and wrinkles? You guys take a look and let me know what you think. I think upon initial application, I'm usually somebody that likes a matte, but I like more of a soft matte. I don't like, I think, this much of a matte on more dry skin or more mature skin. This side just looks a little bit more, and I hope it's picking up in the camera, just a little bit more of a glow to it. But this one does not necessarily do anything for more mature skin because of that high alcohol content. So I don't want to fall in love with it, or especially at a $60 price point. So this is what the two foundations look like upon immediate application. And yeah, let's go through the day. Again, no setting powder, no setting spray. We're really evaluating two different formulas here and looking at how they look upon application. What do they do for the skin throughout the day? And then how do they look at the end of the day? All right, you guys, it has been a day. It's been a day. Sometimes the only thing that gets me through the day is knowing that I get to come back on camera and chit chat with you guys and just put whatever's happened in the day aside for a minute. So thank you for enjoying these 8-hour check-in videos, because there are days it just gives me a little chance to have something to look forward to besides putting on my comfy clothes and jumping into bed. All right, so taking a look at these two foundations, I definitely have some thoughts, and I'm gonna try to just be as nice as I can. Well, let's not, why? Save your money on the $60 Dior. I will definitely, see, this is why I keep boxes. I will definitely be taking this one back because it just wore patchy throughout the day. And a couple things that I really didn't love about it is not only that price point, it looks a little patchy to me as the day has gone on. And because of that high alcohol content, this is just not a good formula for those of us with more mature, dry skin. If you need your foundation to go long days, this is not gonna carry you through with any level of hydration. You're gonna need to use a really rich, thick moisturizer to not have that dehydrated look as the day goes on. And if you put this underneath your eyes, you're gonna have a higher risk of crepey, dry looking under eyes. If you absolutely love the look of this Dior and you like that glow and you want this foundation, here's a couple things you're gonna wanna take into consideration. You're gonna need to prep with, again, a rich moisturizer. You're gonna also wanna use a hydrating primer, not a gripping primer, and really minimal powder if you need powder at all. You're also gonna need to wear sunscreen, even though this does say it has titanium dioxide. And I had to laugh because on the front of the packaging, it says no touch, which means you shouldn't have to touch this up, right? But on the back, it says reapply every 2 hours. So the sunscreen is not sunscreening, which we shouldn't rely on sunscreen in our foundation anyway, but this to me is a big fail. So now let's talk about the Rare Beauty side. This is a more mature skin friendly formula than the Dior, but it still needs an application strategy. It's best for oily to normal skin, if you've got slight texture and you want some smoothing to the skin, and for people that like that polished, soft matte look. To me, it almost looks too matte. And I like a soft matte look, but to me, this is just a little one step too close to matte versus a soft natural matte. You wanna watch out for this if you have dry skin. If you rely on your foundation for hydration, this isn't a good option for you. And with this, you definitely don't wanna over powder. Again, only use powder if you absolutely have to, because this foundation will punish you if you powder on top of it too much. Over time, this one will wear better than the Dior. It'll be less drying and more forgiving on fine lines and wrinkles. But you're not gonna get that juicy, glowy skin with this formula. I think the mistake that women over 50 make when it comes to foundation is applying it like we're still 30. So this can be a nice foundation, and I do wear it sometimes, but I really put a heavy moisturizer on underneath it. So have either one of these dethroned my favorite foundation? Absolutely not. You guys already know. And for those of you that are in Canada, I'm so sorry you can't get this, because it is a great foundation formula in my opinion, and that is the Complexion Crush by Ulta Beauty. I wear it in medium neutral, and I mean, you guys, I have an extra one that's not even open yet because this one's getting low. That's how much I love this. To me, this is the best of both worlds when it comes to the finish. It is a medium to full coverage finish. I'm not sponsored by Ulta Beauty. I even went in and told the people at the Ulta near where I live, look, if you've got more mature women coming in looking for full coverage, soft matte foundation, steer them to your brand because it is so good. Again, not sponsored, but I just want people to know it is a really good foundation if you like medium to full coverage and you like a little bit of a matte, but not this much of a matte. If you want a matte with, I guess I don't know if you'd call it a natural matte, because that's kind of a conundrum, natural matte. It's not glowy, it's not shiny, it is just, to me, the perfect foundation. I know many of you have tried this foundation, this Ulta Beauty Complexion Crush. If you are one of the fans of this that have started using this, will you please leave me a comment down below? I want to hear from you because I talk about this so much. And I don't want people that watch this channel think that I am pushing a foundation, but I'm not sponsored to do that. I just have found it and I absolutely love it. And I've heard from many of you that you love it as well. So if you've tried it and you love it, please let me know in the comments and let us know what your skin type is, so that women that might have different skin types besides my combination skin, I just hit myself on the nose, besides my combination skin, why it works so well for you. That would be super, super helpful. All right, you guys, that does it for this long-winded Friday face-off, but I wanted to talk about these two foundations because they're both really beloved and highly rated. I think this is a skip for more mature skin. This can work, you just need to prep it right, and it will go the distance with you, but you're not gonna get any added skincare, but you're not with this one either. All right, if you love Friday Face Off, be sure to check out this one because it's one of my favorites, and based on the views, it's one of your favorites as well. And be sure to join me on Sunday for another upcoming video. And this one solves a problem that I hear many of you are struggling with based on your comments. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in just a couple days. Bye-bye.